Hey, Elson Scholars, I know you guys are ready for a great day. Well, can I get it? Can I get a hoop, hoop, hoop? Outstanding. All right, today's objective is we are going to learn about manifest destiny all the way up to the Mexican American War. We're going to stop right before that. We're going to discuss what you're going to get out of today's video is you're going to be able to discuss the issues that surrounded the westward expansion of the newly formed United States from 1803 to 1850. Okay. Now, in that, we had added several states, and we had also developed other conflicts with neighbors. Actually, Britain. We got into a conflict with Britain about some of the Western territories. However, we're going to, by the time you finish with this, you'll be able to understand those issues and you'll be able to articulate exactly the reasons why it was such a rush to expand the United States westward. Okay, let's get to it. Now, the Manifest Destiny occurred, the Manifest Destiny period started really under President Polk. Um, From 1803 to 1853, however, that's when it started in earnest under Polk. The United States expanded from the Atlantic to the Pacific in 50 years. Okay? Now, a belief shared by many Americans in the mid 1800s that the United States should expand across the continent to the Pacific Ocean. President Polk believed it was our manifest destiny or obvious fate to settle land all the way to the Pacific Ocean in order to spread democracy. Okay? Now, we'll talk a little bit about the Louisiana Purchase. Okay, Thomas Jefferson bought the Louisiana Territory from France for $15 million. Okay, and Jefferson wanted to make sure the U.S. had control of the port of New Orleans and the Mississippi River. Okay, the Louisiana Purchase doubled the size of the United States. Okay, we can look at the map here, then you can see that the United States only extended to about right there. Okay, you are actually to Mississippi and into some of the southern states, but these was kind of pretty much they weren't really settled states quite yet. But once we bought the Louisiana Purchase, we actually expanded the territory that we had, so we were able to build a few other states out of the land we had acquired, including the state of Louisiana. It was the Louisiana Purchase. So yeah, we made the state of Louisiana definitely, and this is where the port of New Orleans and the mouth of the Mississippi River was. It was a very important strategic place for the United States to control. Okay, um, it did double the size of it, and the U.S. stretched from Atlantic to the Rocky Mountains. Okay, now in 1918, the U.S. wanted to take Florida from Spain because of setbacks by Seminole Indians and runaway slaves in Georgia. Okay, the Seminole Indians, um, they were pretty much the Underground Railroad too, because there's places in Florida where a slave could run away and they would never be found. I mean, they wouldn't be dead or anything like that. The actual Seminole Indians, the tribe, would actually incorporate the people into the tribe, and they would just blend in and be one of the people that's on the tribe. And we got really, really upset. I mean, a lot of the Southern slave owners got really upset that the people that they considered their property was escaping to freedom into Florida. Okay, President Monroe, okay, in 1819, sent General Andrew Jackson to Florida to help protect the U.S. border. Okay, Jackson invaded Florida and overthrew the governor of Florida. He had no direct orders from President Monroe. Okay, Stonewall Jackson he was just a loose cannon. Okay, he went and just took Florida from the Spanish governor. Okay, Spain gave Florida to the U.S. in exchange for 5 million in control of Texas. Think about that. Spain sold us Florida for $5 million, and then also the promise that Spain could have control of Texas. And don't forget, Mexico at that particular time was still a colony of Spain. Okay, was still it was still under the control of Spain. Okay, so that basically linked everything up. Mexico and Texas was pretty much almost the same territory, almost. In 1821, okay, Texas was part of Mexico. Okay, Stephen Austin was an impresario, agent to bring settlers to Texas. Okay, Stephen Austin brought the first 300 families to Texas, known as the Old 300. Old 300. All right, I said 300. By 1830, 25,000 Americans were living in Texas. They were required to become Mexican citizens and become Catholic. The Americans had to follow Mexican law. Okay. The Americans complained. Mexico closed Texas to further American immigration. Basically, what they're saying nowadays, they did that in the 1830s. They did that over almost 190 years ago. That's what Spain did to us. Mexico used to be, Texas used to be part of Mexico. And since the Americans did not want to convert their religion to Catholicism, um, the government of Mexico decided no more people, no more gringos, I guess you can call them that, could come to Texas and settle Texas. They wanted it to remain a majority Catholic society. Okay? They closed immigration and to further American immigration. That's basically saying no more people in here that is not Catholic and, a subject of Spain. Okay? After Mexico closed Texas to Americans, Stephen Austin went to negotiate with the Mexican leader, Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna. Very awesome guy. Austin was jailed and the Texans revolted. Okay. In February 23rd, I'm sorry, March 6th, 1836, Mexico attacked the Texans at the Alamo. This 13-day siege resulted in the killing of all the Americans except some women, children, and slaves. In April, the Mexican army massacred the Texan rebels at Goliad. After the Alamo and Goliad, Sam Houston surprise attacked Santa Anna at the Battle of San Jacinto. Remember the Alamo, remember Goliad. Texas won its independence. After um, it had a lot. It was a very messy. It was a very, very, very messy um, affair because the Americans allowed slavery. The Mexicans did not allow slavery. They just did not believe that a human being can own another human being. Okay, and that was based out of the indigenous tradition, the Native American tradition. No, you can't own another human being. That just doesn't make sense, you know. Um, and Santa Anna, he was trying to, maintain his, um, maintain the control that the country of Spain gave him of the Mexican territory. So he did whatever he felt that he needed to do. He fought the Alamo. He also, uh, he also, uh, you know, massacred the Texan rebels at Goliad. Okay, and that became a battle cry. And eventually, Texas, the United States, or the non-Catholic Texas citizens, they won. Okay, and Texas statehood. Santa Anna was captured and forced to sign a treaty giving Texas its independence. Texas became an independent nation in 1836 called the Lone Star Republic. Sam Houston became the president. Okay, annexation of Texas was delayed, worrying that adding Texas as a slave state would upset the balance between free and slave states. Fear that annexing Texas would lead to war with Mexico as well. Texas joined the U.S. and became the 28th state in 1845. Okay, now in 1820, both the U.S. and Britain claimed to own Oregon County. That's on country. That is the Northwest, the great Northwest, all the way in the northwest part of the United States on the Pacific Ocean. So we're talking about Oregon, Seattle, and Northern California. Those states right there. Okay, that was considered at one point in time. It's called the Oregon Country or the Oregon Territory. Either or is the same thing. Okay, President Polk wanted all of Oregon to the 54-50 parallel. The American people cried 54-40 or fight. Okay, either we're gonna get this money, we're gonna get this land, or we're gonna fight for it, and then we're gonna eventually get it. That's just the way it went. Neither Polk nor Britain wanted the war. All right, Britain and the U.S. compromised. They split Oregon in half at the 49th parallel. The U.S. got the southern half. Okay, President Polk. Hold on one second. Oh, it is offered. Okay, President Polk wanted to expand the U.S. territory clear to the Pacific Ocean. He offered to buy California and New Mexico territory from Mexico for 30 million. Mexico refused. After U.S. annexed Texas in 1845, Mexico and the U.S. disagreed on the Texas border. The U.S. claimed the Rio Grande River. Mexico claimed the Nueces River. The U.S. sent troops to patrol the border. Conflict broke out, and the Mexican army killed U.S. troops on disputed land. Polk declared war, claiming Mexico spilled American blood on American land. All right? We're going to talk about the Mexican American War in our next video. And until then, I want you to digest that. You have studies weekly work that you can work on. Um, Earn as many coins as you can. I am not going to open up a test this week until you know more about these particular phases in American history, and we will speak again at a later time. But right now, continue with your studies weekly, and we will talk again 2 days from now. Actually, this is, yes, absolutely, Tuesdays and Thursdays. The next class we have, the next history, social studies class we have, we'll talk then. Have a good one, guys.